Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have you guys all here with me as I recap this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with a very special guest, Max from the Celeb Talk Guy, which is a YouTube channel that I've been binge watching for ages. Thank you so much for joining us, Max.
Thank you so much for having me. I love your channel too, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Of course. Thank you. So real quick, before we jump into the recap, can you let everybody here know what it is that you cover specifically on your channel so they can subscribe to you as well?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, I talk a lot about 90 Day Fiance, Love After Lockup, Married at First Sight as well, and then some Sister Wives, some of the Duggar drama, but mainly just I get a lot of 90 Day Fiance. Now I'm talking about Welcome to Plathville and some Smothered, but mainly just TLC reality shows and whatnot. A lot of 90 Day Fiance.
That is a very, very good niche to get into. We love 90 Day Fiance here too. So I know a lot of people are going to enjoy your take on it.
Absolutely. I really appreciate that. And seriously, I mean it. I love your channel too. Your Married at First Sight videos are unbelievable.
Thank you. We have to collab on that next season. It's done.
Yes.
So jumping into what went down on last night's episode of the Housewives of Salt Lake City, it starts off with Jen rehashing that hospital comment that Mary made the other week. And I kind of felt like, listen, I am so over it at this point. Like, it feels like a very forced storyline, almost like when the Dorit had that champagne glass situation on the Housewives of Beverly Hills. What did you think? Was Mary's comment that Jen heard all that bad?
I'm not dramatic personally, but it's like, I just don't understand why Jen was in tears. Why I get it. It's an emotional topic, kind of, but she wasn't pushing it right at her. Now, I think Mary's out of her mind, but it's like, still, she wasn't making the comment directly towards her. And she was in tears, hysterically crying. So I don't understand why Jen was so emotional. And I totally agree. It seemed forced and fake just to get Jen some screen time.
Exactly. And you know what was on the back of my mind the whole time I watched it? I was like, wait until Jen hears what Mary said in her confessional.
Yeah.
That is worth crying over. When she's like, oh, she's like 60 something and she's got 2 legs amputated, changed her diet. That was disgusting. That is worth crying over. Not, oh my God, it smells like hospital in here.
She just said in here. She didn't say Jen smells like hospital. So it was kind of annoying, kind of dragged on. And of course, Mary had to stumble in the bathroom when they were all gossiping and talking about her. That was kind of stupid, I thought.
Exactly. That was the first little tiff of the episode. And then as, it progresses, we get into the second one, which is Lisa and Whitney. So they're all at this party still. And then Whitney approaches Lisa to thank her for giving tequila and bartenders to her for her vow renewal ceremony. But then she very quickly starts complaining about the gift. She's like, oh, the bartenders that you sent over, they got quite drunk, they messed up my house a little bit. They got into some very rare Irish whiskey that my husband owned. Yeah. And then we ran out of tequila. She was very, very negative from the offset. And of course, Lisa did not take that comment very lightly, So what did you think about, the bartender situation? And should Whitney have approached her at that moment at a party?
Yeah, see, I actually liked that scene. I thought that scene was hilarious. I thought that was real drama. I was kind of just unsure because we had Lisa saying that I gave you the tequila and I gave you these bartenders. But we had Whitney saying that she didn't say that she bought the tequila, but she did say that she was paying for these bartenders. So what is what? I clearly missed something, but it's like if Whitney did get the bartenders for free and the tequila for free, what are you doing complaining? Now, if they did mess up your house, you could just vaguely mention that, hey, you know what? This kind of did go down really vaguely and just say, I appreciate it. I love you so much for doing that. You gave us tequila for 500 people. Thank you so much. But I mean, she went on and on and on. I'm kind of team Lisa. I do think that Lisa, she's kind of stuck in her way. She's definitely confident. She's assertive. She knows what she's doing. But I just kind of thought it was a little uncalled for Whitney. If it was all donated and given to her, why are you complaining?
Exactly. I was not a huge fan of it, but I did, like you said, see a little bit of her side as well. Like if the bartenders really were getting so boozy that they were dropping her glasses or they were getting to her husband's like stash without asking for permission, that's definitely inappropriate.
Yeah.
But, again, it's similar to Mary making a very, very mean comment where she's in her talking head and she says, I don't even drink Vida tequila.
Exactly.
It's Ramposada that I'm always keeping in the back. Then why didn't you ask Ramposada to hook you up? Like, why did you go to Vida tequila?
And she made other comments. She made that comment. She made a handful of other kind of backhanded comments. She said something about how we ran through the tequila at like 5 or 6 o'clock, meaning they didn't give her enough. And, Lisa was like, I gave you enough for 500 people. So if it's free is free. Say thank you and move on. I mean, you can make a vague little comment. Hey, your bartenders, if they weren't, getting paid by Whitney, maybe make a little comment. But still, it's like, I just thought it was kind of rude by Whitney. I was not a fan of that.
Yeah, it was incredibly tacky because listen, when someone gives you something, there's no set amount as to how much they need to give you. Was she expecting like a week's worth of tequila? I mean, it's expensive.
I don't get why she got it for free in the first place.
Me neither, because she didn't even invite Lisa to the renewal anyway. So they're not that close. So
that was stupid. And then that started a lot of just bizarre drama and more on that. We can get more into it too. But Whitney and Lisa both talked about that further. And I don't know if you noticed, but they both had different stories about what happened after that. It was kind of interesting.
We've got a very special someone here, it seems. So Riley's earlier comment was, I was on episode number 1, Watch What You Say. And she says that the bartenders totally ruined her house. We had to take 2 days to clean all the broken glass.
Wow. Okay. Well, so I get it. And I get why Whitney, I totally understand why she brought it up, but it's like, say thank you, bring it up. Don't talk about you running out of tequila. Like, it's like it was free. So I do understand why she'd be mad and upset. That's a pain. But can't you just say thank you and move on? Maybe I'm too Lisa. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm kind of like, just say thank you, maybe not bring that part up. But again, the bartender thing, if that really did happen, and it seems like according to Riley, what's your relationship to Whitney anyway, by the way? And she said,
that's interesting.
That Lisa was invited and she did just choose not to come. So it's kind of, why would Lisa say the opposite? Because later when she was complaining about this with her husband, she complained that she wasn't even invited. So it could very well be just like another thing of editing. But
yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but after that went down, Lisa told her husband that Whitney texted her and then she called her. But Whitney said the complete opposite in her confessional. She said that immediately Lisa just called her and went off on her and threatened her with these, fake accusations and whatnot. So did you hear that? I mean, I don't know whose side I'm choosing on that either, if it's Whitney or Lisa, because she was saying that Lisa was trying to like blackmail her.
Yes. When I saw that, I was like, first of all, is Lisa dumb enough as a businesswoman? Because Vida Tequila is huge. And that's not even like the only liquor brand they own. They own so many. So she's obviously a very smart, intelligent woman. So why would she threaten Heather? Right? Whitney, like, why would she go and threaten this girl? I just felt like that's not a good look at all. And I really hope at the very least that it was not in writing.
Right. Well, the other question I had too is it true? I mean, she doesn't have the best past, Whitney. Is there a possibility that could be true?
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, it's just so outrageous that it's like, I don't know that someone would make it up, because if you're trying to make up something, maybe you'd go for something a little bit more subtle. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards, as much as I love my Lisa, she's so far my favorite housewife. I'm kind of leaning towards believing Whitney on that. I do believe that it happened. Yeah. And, Lisa doesn't seem like, she doesn't seem like the nicest person. She is a little bit condescending, a little bit stuck up. So I totally can see it happening. I can.
Yeah. That was probably one of my favorite parts from the episode. That was really fun to see.
So what do you think about Heather so far? Because when she was introduced, she talks about how she was married to Mormon royalty. I believe she even said that, like, what did she say? I believe, maybe I'm saying this wrong, but I could have sworn that she intimated that her ex-husband was a billionaire, right?
She might have. I definitely heard the royalty part, but she might have said that. I don't know. I can't confirm that, but I definitely heard her say several times the royalty and all that crap.
Right. So I was feeling like, okay, so you're talking about being married to Mormon royalty.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she is practically printing money at that
Yeah.
salon that she owns. And then we pan to her home, and it is a regular,
Yeah.
suburban single family home. Not even like a big, no, it was just a regular single family home. So where did all the money go?
I noticed that too. I feel like Heather, I don't have anything against her, but I just feel like she's kind of the lady of the season. Every housewife season has one where they're just kind of there, they're filler. She just says stuff to kind of cause a little bit of drama. I don't think much is going on with her life. She probably doesn't make nearly as much money as she's saying. I mean, we saw Jen's house, and that's a freaking mansion. So
Exactly.
I just think, yeah, I actually noticed that her house is just, it's not small by any means, but it's just not a mansion, right? Not if you're printing money or from royalty. So I think Heather's there. She was kind of boring to me. She's definitely not my favorite, not my least favorite. She's kind of just in the middle, kind of boring. Nothing too exciting with her. But what did you think about her?
See, real quick before we get into it, Riley, if you want to come on sometime and spill some tea, my email is in my about section, graceisunknown@gmail.com. Let me know. We'll do a live with you. Spill all the tea you want, girl. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. I hope you do. Hop on. When it comes to Heather, I like her. And you know what? I think that Lisa is kind of giving her the cold shoulder for a lot of very superficial reasons. I feel like Heather is very different from the rest of the girls. And maybe that's why Lisa doesn't really want to be, associated with her in some regards. And so that's what gives me a very soft spot for Heather. I'm like, she seems like a really nice girl. Yeah. She's very ambitious. She's got these, 2 daughters that she loves and adores. They seem like wonderful girls as well. She seems like a lot of fun, like non-judgmental. She talks a lot about how she left the religion because she felt as though it encouraged a lot of, judgmental or prejudice and stuff like that. So I really like her, and I want to see her and Lisa get along, and I want to see her get along with all the other girls as well.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen with Lisa, honestly, because I like you were saying, I feel like Lisa, she's just so stuck in her ways. Like, I feel like she has her friends. I don't think, if you're not at this level, I don't see her trying to make any new friends. But I think a lot of the other ladies are going to really like her because she does seem genuine. She seems a lot more genuine than some of the other cast, for sure. And so I like I said, she just is kind of there. She's filler for me, but she doesn't seem mean or bad or anything. I do kind of like her too.
Yeah, right? Like she just seems like, this feud kind of reminds me a little bit of Nene Leakes and Phaedra Parks from the Housewives of Atlanta, where Phaedra was like, I know Nene, like I knew her brothers or my brothers or whatever. And Nene's like, I don't know her.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of sad to see. And there was a little bit of he said, she said going on with Lisa and Heather, but I do still like her, though. I think she is nice. She's genuine. Yeah. And we'll see what happens.
Exactly. I'm really looking forward to it. So speaking of Heather, and you kind of hinted at this a little bit earlier, but she and Whitney are cousins, right? And so they've all got this ski trip coming up, and they go together to like shop for equipment, spruce up Whitney's board and everything. And they kind of commiserate over like their individual beefs with Lisa. It's funny that Lisa just doesn't like this family, it seems like. And, apparently Lisa, like you said earlier, threatened to call Whitney and her husband swingers if she brought up more negative things about her tequila brand. So, I really hope that they didn't do it in writing, but like, why do you think that is the rumor that she defaulted to? Do you think that it's because of Whitney's reputation after having an affair on her own husband with another married man, that it was too easy?
Yeah. It's just the easiest jab. I mean, of course, she could have said that she's having another affair, but it is kind of a weird thing to just make up out of thin air. I mean, swingers. So I could only hope and assume that there is a little bit of truth to it, because if Lisa did just make it up, I'm probably not going to like her as much, because that's just not, I mean, why make up a complete rumor like that? You know what I mean? It's like, so I hope there is kind of some truth to it. And she really didn't have any reasoning, did she? She didn't have any proof. She just came out and said that. So that kind of wasn't really cool, but it's an easy jab. Her past, she cheated before, even though not technically cheating, but I could just see it's something easy to kind of go at. I'm sure there's probably rumors flying around about everyone in that town. She probably heard it once from one other person and ran with it.
Exactly. I'm just kind of like giggling at how, like I feel like in like a place like here, especially in Paris where I'm at, like if someone was a swinger, I'd be like, we're all I'm not, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, we're all swinger. We're swinging from the chandeliers out here. So like the fact that this is so scandalous, you know, in Utah or whatever, just kind of makes me laugh because it's like, you know, if this were, I don't know, one of the other more like liberal cities, sure, the person would be a little bit pissy, but they probably joke about it and tell everyone in front of the table, like, this chick says I'm a swinger, y'all. And they would kind of laugh about it. And, you know, when Whitney wants to confront Lisa about it a little bit later, we'll get into, she doesn't even say the word because she's like, I don't want this, you know, really out there. So
that's kind of why I like this season though too, because it's so different than the other ones. This like religion is like totally playing into the season more than we've ever seen in any other Real Housewives season. So it's kind of different, and it's interesting like learning about their religions. I don't know the first thing about it. I know some, but it's kind of interesting to learn more about it. And yeah, that was really interesting. And I my just curiosity is it true? Is it true or is it not true? And where did she come up with that rumor?
Exactly. And you know what, while we're here, I'm curious about you and everyone else watching. What are you guys' opinions of Whitney? I feel like in Utah, I don't think she'll ever be able to escape the way that her marriage kind of came about, like her cheating on her husband, the man cheating on his wife. So maybe that, like, they just, you know what I mean? Like, they'll never be able to escape that. But based on like a personal level, just seeing her like in her talking heads, she seems like a girl who was forced to live life a certain way that she just didn't want to. And then she got trapped and she didn't know what to do. She finally found someone that she actually genuinely loved. Maybe she felt like forced to be with the other guy for whatever reason.
So
I kind of see her as a victim and not so much as like this, like, you know, manipulative, calculating homewrecker, right?
I see the whole episode. I was sitting there trying to decide where I stood with her, and I still can't decide yet. I can't tell if she's like an entitled, rude, rich girl that just like, you know, like a homewrecker, or if, like you were saying, she was raised in this religion. She even came out and said that she was like the perfect Mormon, you know, girl. I can't decide. I like to see what she's doing with her dad though, because he had his, you know, addiction issues. That was nice to see. She does seem pretty sincere for that. So I give her some brownie points for that. But the stuff, those comments she made to Lisa, it just didn't seem like she was being very grateful. So I'm 50-50. I can't decide how I feel, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards she is, like you were saying, she is somewhat genuine. She is kind of a little entitled too, though, but I think overall she is probably a nice person. And she just kind of got born into this bizarre life and that she didn't want anything to do with.
Exactly. I feel like, you know, she's also like a little, I don't think she's a very smart girl. You know,
yeah,
I don't think that's
possible too. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, yeah, like she says like that thing, like we didn't like how she kind of was like, oh, I don't even drink this tequila. It was very ungrateful, very rude. But like, she probably just thought it was funny because she's not that bright, you know?
Yeah, and
like,
that's possible. That's totally possible. Yeah. See, that was the kind of the aftertaste I got when she made that comment. This is ungrateful. That's just rude. But you're totally right. She could just be just thinking she's being funny. Maybe the producers kind of made her throw a jab at her just for some drama. You know, we really have no idea.
Exactly. It seems like people in general do kind of like Whitney. I'm seeing Lisa and Mary are the ones with dark energy, but Lisa seems kind of like, you know, a good person.
Yeah.
Utah's a bit dubious. I see she notices. Yes, they're talking about lives. I'm like, yeah, I'll do lives more, you guys. I will. I promise. I always say I will, but then I don't, because I was talking to Max earlier about this, but time zones are so hard to navigate, you know, between here and the US, but I'll try it.
Yeah.
Mary stepping. Yeah, we're gonna get into that as well. Yes, her marrying my grandpa is just so. Oh my God, you guys.
She is out of it. I can't believe her. She's perfect for reality TV. Mary. I mean, that's the most bizarre story I have maybe ever heard ever on any reality TV show. To be honest.
Exactly, and the fact that
it's just so weird. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't she married to another man?
She was. And, you know, Adam was schooling me on this the other day. He was like, okay, so she was married to this man and then the grandpa wanted her. And so what happened was he kind of banned the man that she was married to from the church and then told the congregation that God told him that Mary should be his next wife. And then they all kind of just went with it.
Crazy. I mean, have you ever heard of anyone ever doing that? Ever? Marrying their step grandpa?
No, you know, like you hear about people marrying like cousins and stuff like that in certain cultures or whatever. So you kind of like get a little bit numb to it. But the whole grandpa thing is a bit freaking much.
It's
You know, he told me with the
unbelievable.
baby.
And yeah, and she acts like it's like normal. I mean, it's just so weird. But
Yes.
it's for great TV. I think she's out of her mind, honestly. I think she is really crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I was hinting at this with Adam. I'm like, I feel like we are going to get like a bombshell story about her in the future. To
Hmm.
lay down with your grandpa for 20 something years, you need to be doing a little something, something to take the edge off, because that is
Yeah.
not natural. It is not
Hmm.
normal. So I think we're going to hear something about like how she's been coping with how traumatic that is. I
Yeah.
bet you. I bet
Or
you. It's
she's just
very
out of her
sad.
mind. Or could she
Yeah.
have just lost her mind, maybe? Yeah. Or she could be on a little something, something, but or she could just be out of it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so bizarre. It's so strange. I just can't even wrap my head around it.
It is so sad,
You
and
know.
speaking of possible addiction, but this one was confirmed. It was Whitney's dad being addicted
Yes.
to painkillers. You
Yes.
know, I find that really, really sad. So when she
Yes.
first said that he was addicted to painkillers, my instinct was, oh, he was overprescribed or something like that. Because
Hmm.
that's typically how it starts with people. But to learn that he started taking prescription medication to deal with loneliness and like grief
Yeah.
after his wife divorced him, that was really shocking to me. What did you
That
think
was
about
sad.
that?
It was just sad. That kind of made me like Whitney a little more because she really did, and it's her dad, but she genuinely did seem sad, wanted to help him get back on his feet. So that just sucked. I hate seeing stuff like that in these TV shows because it's kind of it sucks, but it sounds like he's doing better. I mean, his hair was bizarre. I mean, what do you think of the guy's hair? But besides his hair,
Oh yeah.
he does seem to be doing better. I'm curious to see because him and Whitney do go to Mary's church, and that looked like really kind of bizarre and weird. But I
Mhm.
felt bad, and yeah, it just sucks to see addiction in these TV shows. It really does kind of just break my heart.
You know, my question for you and anyone watching, and by the way, Tiny Dancer, I haven't seen it, but I will search it for it after because that sounds good. Is was he excommunicated from the church as a result of his addiction? I know she talked about the judgment that he faced,
Yeah.
but like, was he also excommunicated? Because we all know she was for,
Yes.
the
I
affair, but
He might have been because, well, maybe I think she just said he was going to be judged if he was to go back. I don't think he was excommunicated because, yeah, I think it was just judged. I could be wrong, so don't quote me, but I believe she just said he's going to be judged a lot if he does choose to go back, and that's
Mhm.
why they wanted to go to Mary's church, I believe, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay. Well, things get very real later on
Mm,
in the episode when Meredith and her husband go out for dinner and it's revealed that they're separated.
yeah,
The husband's like, have you told anyone that we're separated? Have you told your friends? Who have you told? What did you think of that scene? That scene really gripped my heart because
yeah.
honestly, it looked like he was very much into this marriage and wanting to make it work. And she was, what is it, serving him platitudes like, oh, of course I want this to work. I don't want to check your phone. Like, we shouldn't want to in a relationship. To
Yeah.
me, I feel like she's cheating.
That's what I was just gonna say. I think she met a new man, and the question always is, well, is it really cheating if they're separated? Probably it's frowned upon, not the best thing. But I think she met a new man. I think it was they met at what 23, got married at 24, had a kid at 25. I think she said they were young. I think it put me in my feelings. I was like, oh my god, this poor guy. He was just handing over his phone. He was trying to see her phone. She
Yeah.
wouldn't give into it. I think she has met a new man, and yeah, that also kind of sucked because I was sitting there all sad and emotional. I really do feel, I feel for her. I mean, I feel for him. I mean, but I do think she met a new man, and she's just trying to use any excuses to get out of this relationship. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but like that's where my problem kind of comes from. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want to be with this man, why are you telling him? He asked you, do you
I
feel like
know,
our marriage is built to last
I
a
know.
lifetime? And she goes, of course I do. I'm like,
Yeah, that was BS.
just tell him no. Like
That
this
was BS.
guy, he was so drunk at the dinner because he was in so much pain over the dissolution of this marriage. And she's saying one thing, but her actions are obviously telling a different story because he's like,
Yeah.
she doesn't sleep with me anymore. She's never like, emotionally invested, nothing. And she just keeps trying to, tell him with her words that she is. It's like, girl, let him go, leave him alone.
No, it's over. It's done. What do you think about her in general? I've only seen a couple scenes with her. Do you have any thoughts on her? Is she genuine liar? What do you kind of think of her?
I think that her son is her saving grace. In episode 1, the son was like the breakout star. Everyone loved him. He's got this wonderful, vibrant personality and everything. And so you kind of miss out on how, kind of not the greatest she is. You know what I mean? Like her situation with the husband, if it was just them, I think a lot more people would be paying attention to their dynamic and like how off it is like on her end. So far, just based off that, I don't like her. I don't. It's so mean. It is so mean to lead this man on. You saw how drunk he was at the restaurant, how he was begging her to check his phone. He's like, if you checked it, it would feel like you cared at least.
Yeah, and that was the thing. He just feels like she's not at all, and she's not invested because if she, like you said it, I mean, if she did care, she had no emotion. She just didn't seem to give a crap. So I agree, and I don't know legally if they do legally get a divorce or what actually goes down with that, but it doesn't look good for those two. She doesn't seem to have any interest whatsoever in trying to work anything out with them.
Yeah, it makes me sad. It makes me sad. And are they even legally separated, or did he just move to Chicago?
Yeah, I think he just moved. I believe. I'm not totally sure on that, but I think he just moved. I don't think it's legal. So I'm sure if it is legal, then it's a done deal and they're over, which that'd be kind of interesting to find out. But yeah, it doesn't look good for them.
Yeah. After this kind of dinner situation goes down, we next see the girls hit the slopes. I was surprised that some of these girls don't know how to ski. I was like, really? You're from Utah. I know how to ski. Yeah, like what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I can't ski one bit, but I don't live in Utah. That's what I was thinking. Doesn't everyone in Utah ski every weekend? Maybe it's just the naive thing to think, but you would only imagine.
Right. It's how you cope with winter, is by getting into winter sports. So like me being from Ottawa, you ski, you can snowboard, you snowshoe, you skate, you gotta kind of embrace the winter. It's there. It's not going anywhere.
Man, that's exactly why I don't live in the winter, because I can't do snow. I can't walk in it. I can't drive in it. I can't even barely even look at it. So yeah,
it is so bad.
But yeah, I mean, it's that's their thing. And but some of the ladies, I feel like they don't do anything but just sit, like Jen. Okay, well, Jen, I'm shocked she never does any skiing or snowboarding or anything, because she doesn't see, she just is so stuck up in her ways. What do you think of her? I don't want to get off topic, but I am kind of curious. What do you think of her real quick?
I think she's very suspicious. I heard online that the chateau thing that she threw the birthday party at wasn't even their actual place. Apparently it was rented. Yes. And they had to be out in 72 hours. Yup.
Wow.
And people were like kind of bringing up a good point. They go, okay, well, if she's got all these businesses and these two assistants, why doesn't she name what her business is? The other girls said what they did. Right. There's the girl with the accessories, the salon, the tequila. What does Jen do? Do you know what Jen does?
No idea. I was going to ask that too. I have absolutely no idea. Everyone's super open about tequila and whatnot, but yeah, you haven't heard any rumors or anything like that?
No, I don't know what she said. Like, apparently she doesn't do anything. Like, they're all hired help, like friends, like as props. She's putting on a character. If you guys know anything, oh my God, remember, we've got this source, guys. We've got Riley. I
know.
Does Jen have a job, Riley?
Well, that's probably what it is, though. She wants to act like she's some big shot, and that's for sure what it is. Now, the question is, did Bravo make her do that, or did she do that on her own? And she probably, if I had to guess, I feel like she wants to keep up with the Keep Up so much, she probably just hired them on her own, if I had to guess, but could be wrong.
But I don't understand why. I feel like Jen very well could play the role of a lady of leisure who just doesn't do anything, but spend her husband's money. Like, that would have been a nice role for her too, But the girls always do that. It's like Monique from the Real Housewives of Potomac. She came in with an assistant. She was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids at the time. It's like, really? You know? And then you've got nannies on top of that. Yeah. And then, the other girls got to her. These girls were so jealous because they don't have the money she does. And they were like, getting on her about her husband's money. And so every season after that, she's always talking about how busy she is. And it's like, you don't need to front, girl. It's okay to just be taken care of too, if that's what you got going on.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, there's always fronting going on with all these series, especially Utah. I feel like everyone in Utah, it's all these housewives shows, but Utah especially, they're all trying to keep up with everyone. That's how I feel like Heather's going through. Heather was making all these big, bold comments, but she lives in just a normal suburb house. So it's like, I feel like everyone's trying to just keep up with everyone.
Exactly. And so I completely forgot where we even were, but it was just so good.
We're talking about the slopes. We're on the skiing, I think.
Yes. So what happens is they all go to the slope. Some of the girls are on the bunny hill, but the other girls who are like the big girl skiers, they kind of, it was Whitney and Heather. They corner Meredith on the slopes to ask her about how to deal with Lisa, because Meredith and Lisa are super close. Honestly, I didn't even know like the names, like the first episode. I was like, I know I love one of these brunette girls, but I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we'll ask her, like, how do we deal with Lisa? Because we've got all these issues with her. And then Meredith is like, listen, Lisa's always coming from like a nice place. I believe she genuinely has a kind heart. So you guys need to do your best to just raise your concerns with her directly and clearly, and then go from there. And so next, the girls all go out for dinner. And what does Whitney do? At the table, she tells Lisa, listen, like, you tried to blackmail me. I didn't appreciate it. I feel like you're judgmental. And then it kind of goes down from there. What did you think about that dinner scene?
I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It was great drama. Now, if I was in Whitney's shoes, would I brought it up in front of the whole gang? Probably not, because it's like, if you want a real conversation where it's not just a screaming match, are you really going to do it around, 6, 7 women? I mean, it's like, wouldn't you kind of do it one-on-one? I would, at least. But I guess for the show and for everyone, they have to do it in a big group, but at a restaurant in the middle of everyone. So that was kind of ridiculous. But I will say on Whitney's behalf, if it was true, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to bring it up in front of everyone. So that kind of made me believe that it probably isn't true, because, like I said, she'd be hiding it and she wouldn't want to talk about it. But she did just bring it up in front of everyone. So that could kind of help with Whitney's case of it just being a complete bold-faced lie. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Like, if it was something that, I completely agree. I definitely, unfortunately, believe that Lisa said it, but was it as intensely as Whitney's describing it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she just did this. Listen, I don't understand why you did this on camera. You know what I mean? Because sometimes these girls, like, they have packs to protect each other's images. So I don't know why you did this to me. I have never brought up your swinger stuff. That's not a threat. It's just her saying, listen, I did you a solid by not airing this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, they both had different sides, because, like, Whitney said, Lisa called me screaming, threatening to blackmail me. Lisa told her husband a complete different story. She said that Whitney was texting her, being all aggressive, and she called her. So there's two kind of different stories going on. And I don't know why I'm leaning more towards Lisa. Some of my friends can't stand her. So I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like she has a little bit of a better track record, kind of. I don't know why, though. It's just my gut telling me.
I agree. We're seeing what's Cher saying? She's saying, just because you give me something free, it doesn't mean they get to screw up my house.
I know.
Which is true. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. It was like, okay, we didn't like Whitney complaining about not having enough. It's like, listen, you got it for free, sis. But we did also say that it wasn't cool of the bartenders to destroy her house or anything like that. Like, that was definitely, or get into the whiskey and stuff.
Yeah, that's not cool. Never cool. Say thank you so much. We love you. Don't talk about the quantity. You got enough. Whitney, you don't get into that. Well, you could vaguely say, hey, by the way, your staff, they screwed everything up. The house was dirty.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. Whitney, I could be wrong, but I thought she mentioned some stuff with the amount and other things like that too. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Lisa lied.
Yeah, she's like,
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. But that's another one of those things. Like, sometimes someone does something for you and, like, that it's wrong, or for example, sometimes you loan your friends money, right? Yeah. And then they take forever to pay you back. And then at the end of it, they still owe you like X amount. Do you you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like, well, sis, you owe me this much, but I'm not going to bring it up in front of, you know what I mean?
I know.
I feel like she should have held her tongue on that, as a result of the favor. I felt like it was tacky. Just accept it, just accept it. And so I want to get your opinion on the thumbs up text being an FU text. Mm-hmm. Is that a bit dramatic?
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I got to say. Yeah. Just dramatic. I mean, I thought it was just stupid. What did you think?
I thought so too. I was kind of like, well, first of all, why was Lisa even texting Heather to ask her if she was going to be there? You don't like her. You don't know her. How'd you get her number? How'd you get the stranger's number in the first place? So I didn't get it.
This season so far is good, but there does seem to be a handful of little forced dramatic scenes. I don't know if it's because it's their first season and they're trying to kind of make a name for themselves or what, but there were a handful, especially with like Jen. See, now one person I feel like is not going to fake drama, and that is Mary. I think Mary is going to really kind of stay true to herself. I think she's crazy, but there was a little bit of forced drama. I kind of thought that was kind of annoying.
Yeah, it all kind of started out with that like hospital comment. We were like, all right, sis, like you didn't even hear the bad thing that Mary said. Wait until you watch it back and see her, drag your aunt. Like otherwise, like, no.
I mean, you're really going to run away and cry like that? That was just, I don't even know why she did. I mean, I guess just from some camera time, but it's like, what are you even trying to get out of that? Sympathy or something? It was just the dumbest. Yeah. That was stupid. But
in the middle of that party that had nothing to do with the birthday girl, by the way. It was like a Tongan party. It was all for Jen. I know. What was it? Cabin, whatever, Shaw.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Typical Housewives. I know. Yeah, it had nothing to do with her. Yeah, but it was a good episode. It was good. There was actually some good drama. I love the stuff with Lisa and Whitney. I'm curious how that plays out. And then the preview for the next episode looked really good too, surprisingly.
Yes, it looks so freaking good. You guys, by the way, real quick to wrap this up, I loved how at the end they all agreed to just drop it. Yeah. They're not going to keep it, because if this were Beverly Hills, that would be like episode 1 of 10 episodes of that one singular issue. So the fact they all agreed to drop it, thank you.
I know. Last season especially, was out with Lisa Rinna. I mean, it's been on and on and on and on. And Denise, it never goes off. So thank God. Hopefully they do kind of just, I'd like to get a little more clarification on if any of it's true, but hopefully it's not the whole thing going on this whole entire season, because that just drags on way too much.
Exactly. We're so lucky to have such a dynamic cast. I think this is the most dynamic we've ever had. You've got, infidelities. You've got religion, like different religion, being excommunicated from a religion. You've got different sexualities. You've got different races. Like, it is just so good. And I'm really, really looking forward to following this season. Just so you guys know, Up and Adam and I are going to be recapping episode 3 tomorrow on this channel at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Max and I believe Adam as well. I haven't asked Adam yet, but I would love for the three of us to discuss episode 4 the following week over here as well.
I'd love to. And likewise, seriously, I need to start doing more lives. Everyone keeps asking for them. I've only done one in my whole YouTube career. I need to start doing more. So if you ever want to come on, talk 90 Day Fiance. I know you do a lot with Teen Mom and stuff too. If you ever want to come on and chat, I would absolutely love it. And it's so much fun just to talk and have a good time. I hope everyone watching had a good time too. I know this is a show I watch, and I'm getting more into it because we can all start from just start at the beginning, start from the ground up. So I hope everyone enjoyed it, but I definitely want you to come on my channel too.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to everyone here over who's been watching with us for this recap as well. We had so much fun talking to you guys, and again, Riley, that invitation stands. If you want to hop on and give us a little bit more behind the scenes tea, you are more than welcome. Thank you guys
I'm curious about that. She had a different side than what I was seeing, so I'm super curious about that.
Exactly. So many things, like so many hours end up on like the cutting room floor. So it's always nice to get that little, kind of behind the scenes information.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so glad that you guys were all here. Thank you for all of your live feedback as well. It's been so great recapping it with every single one of you. And so I will see you here again tomorrow with Adam, and then next week as well with Max also. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.